change the world. Cried out for a hero. She was Xena, a mighty princess forged in the heat of battle. The power, the passion, her courage will change the world.
Afro-Caribbeans and Indo-Caribbeans get along. Your grandparents will tell you it's always been that way. It hasn't. The British engineered it. Here's how. After slavery ended in 1838, freed Africans left the plantations. They built villages, started businesses, gained economic power. The British panicked, so they brought in Indian indentured laborers and told each group lies about the other. They told Africans the Indians were stealing their jobs, undercutting their wages. They told Indians the Africans were lazy, dangerous, uncivilized. They paid Indians slightly more, just enough to create resentment. They gave Indians different housing, separate schools, different religious freedoms, all designed to prevent unity. Because if Afro and Indo-Caribbeans united, they could overthrow colonial rule. The British had seen it before. The Indian Mutiny, the Morant Bay Rebellion. They knew mixed-race uprisings were their biggest threat, so they made sure you'd never trust each other. They gave you just enough difference to fight over. And it worked. Your families stopped seeing each other as fellow victims and started seeing each other as competition. That tension you feel today, that's not natural. That's colonial programming. Drop a fire emoji if this just clicked for you. Follow for the receipts they don't want you to see.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissassa is refusing to say whether she will accede to opposition leader Penelope Beckles' call for a media briefing, insisting instead that the PNM has far more questions to answer about its own record in office. When asked if she intended to hold a news conference, the Prime Minister did not answer directly. Instead, she told TV6, quote, Penelope Beckles is holding media briefings and making statements daily to defend Star Sabga and Genevieve Hadid's coolie comments. But in 9 years in government, never held a media briefing to talk about over 5,000 murders, 8,000 rapes, over 124,000 crimes, end quote. The Prime Minister argued there's no difference between Beckles and former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, claiming neither used media briefings to address issues such as drug trafficking, gang violence, and crime during the PNM's 9 years in office. Persad-Bissassa also criticized what she described as the silence of members of the Syrian-Lebanese community, the PNM, and even Dr. Rowley over comments made by Genevieve Hadid and Star Sabga, saying many, including the media, were attempting to ignore the use of the word coolie. Asked whether Independence Day could be an opportunity to promote national unity following the heated political exchanges surrounding Emancipation Day, the Prime Minister instead repeated her claim that the PNM resorts to hatred, racism, and division whenever it's in opposition. She alleges PNM supporters had planned to target her at Saturday's emancipation celebrations, but said those plans failed because she did not attend. Basant Bisasa said, quote, "Imagine PNM MPs and supporters getting up early, heart and mind full of hatred, getting dressed and going down to Port of Spain in the hot sun to cuss Kamla, the stinking coolie, and then your plan busts. That is the example that the PNM MPs and supporters set for the younger generations to denigrate and desecrate Emancipation Day," end quote. She says the PNM MPs and supporters are wallowing in hatred and racism because the freeness is over, while the rest of the country moves on in hard-working ways to improve lives and society. Basant Bisasa says she eagerly looks forward to round 2 of Boo Kamla the Stinking Coolie on Independence Day, where star cheese and chilled bottled water will be available for all attendees. Urvashi Tumori Rupnarayan, TV6 News.
Mention, they were ashamed. You could imagine me. This little coolie girl from down wherever. Mention, they were ashamed. You could imagine me. This little coolie girl from down wherever. Mention, they were ashamed. You could imagine me. This little coolie girl from down wherever.
Very hard for single parents, and they say no can name the CPAP and the URP, but we was working honestly and we sure when the fortnight come we still get a salary and have something. No, we don't have no income. No matter how small the money was, we used to get something.
Salisha Khan says she and her sisters turned to squatting on state lands after losing their CPAP jobs. But now they're worried months of hard work on these crops could be wiped out as the government proceeds with a massive land clearing exercise between St. Madeleine and Picton.
UNC win everybody win
with
one.
Everybody. I hope all is well with everybody. So nevertheless, in a couple of days, I, Elmo Gills, try my very best every good day with this UNC government. And I really trying on it. I want all about today looking for work. I wish by the chicken depot and all too. I want by a sawmill. I want to see if I get some garbage truck work. Years ago I used to do that work now. But nevertheless, when UNC win, everybody win. But I'm going to tell you something. And I reach in a state in my life, in a couple of days, I bring the mother for maintenance. And let me tell you something. And every day I get up in this world, I just be praying and asking the Almighty Lord every God day to answer my prayers. But the only option I have in my life is to put this train in a home boy, because here on I can't make this by myself. And I'm praying from now until next week is my case. I bring up the mother for maintenance. And if me get through this all year, I, Elmo Gills, will be going to using sugar factory, right? Train authorities by the pond on the left hand side. And I go and carry on train Budip and I'm going to explain to these train authorities I cannot make this by myself. It's very, very hard. And I don't think I talked to my children already. I let them know here and all they see their father fighting and begging and pleading. And TikTok is a set of promised land and a set of fairy tale people now. Right? This TikTok is only set of fairy tale people. And the UNC government tell you something, You know how all this make me feel to do sometimes? All this UNC government make me feel to do is to go by the agriculture shop and buy a bottle of poison and drink it. That's what this UNC government making me feel to do. But I won't do it because God give life and I won't take my life. Right? But UNC, all is the worst boy. Me cussing all me disrespecting all I talking here and chairs want to run from this iron. But nevertheless, karma is real in it. Karma is real in the UNC government. Trust me. Hey, school opening just now, you know. But I'm sending them with nothing. Nothing I sending them with. Let them, give them books, bag and uniform. Wherever they have here, I sending them. I send them to school as normal. Same old books, same uniform, same wherever they have, I sending them. Because here I was saying, when UNC win, everybody win. Hey, I run out words for this government and all them. Hi.
Getting $80 or $90 a day, they are getting $250. Cut out the middleman. So it costing us less one, but we could pay the real workers more money.
Correct.
And it means that they could feed their family, they could depend on it. When you're working for $90 a day, by the time you finish work, you travel home. So you go and buy a bread and a sweet drink for your children, and the money done.
Money done, yeah.
And I've known, of course, there were people, and I say this, PNM did it with CPEP. All them ministers had relatives who had CPEP contract. Them councillors who
In a time of ancient gods, warlords, and kings, a land in turmoil cried out for a hero. She was Xena, a mighty princess forged in the heat of battle. The power, the passion, the danger. Her courage will change the world.
Good morning to my colleagues, to the members of the media, and to the wider viewing and listening public of Trinidad and Tobago and beyond. I have the unenviable task of dealing with some issues that should be of serious concern to us as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago here this morning once again. The first thing and first point I'd like to make is Trinidad and Tobago, the UNC and Kamla Persad Bissessor are constantly rage baiting, as the young people call it, but also engaging in distraction to try and keep your focus out of the areas and the issues that really require our concern. And this concept that they have bought in to fully is called flood the zone. That is all that they are doing constantly because they are not performing. The country is literally on autopilot in a crash mode. But what they do, starting from Kamla Persad Bissessor, come right down, is light fires of distraction all over to try and divert our attention. So that's the first point that I'd like you to be aware of. They are currently, Kamla Persad Bissessor herself and others, attempting to distract you from many, many issues that require your focus. For example, we are dealing right now with a failing economy, a struggling energy sector, and I'll come to the big announcements in a short while. We're still dealing with the loss of tens of thousands of jobs. And my colleagues before highlighted some of the real issues that are being faced. When you go down on the ground across the country in the most vulnerable of neighborhoods, it is only suffering taking place. They are attempting to divert our attention away from these things, from the failing economy, the shutting down of a record number of businesses, small and medium-term businesses, and the abuse of preventative detention orders under the state of emergency. These are the real issues facing us, despite the neon lights that they like to flash, despite the rage baiting and unfortunate use of race to distract that we've been seeing taking place. Let me just draw a couple matters to your attention, and hopefully you'll take a closer look at them. In the past week, we have had some major announcements, and I'll just draw on two state enterprises. FCB, an indigenous bank that we should be proud of in Trinidad and Tobago. Go and check their results. Their 9-month results that ended at the end of June 2026. They have reported a drop and a decline in their profitability of over 10%. That is a serious red flag. Angostura, once a jewel of the CLF group, Angostura has also just reported at the end of the first half of 2026 a decline in its profitability of 8% and a drop in its revenues. Those two alone, you can say, are the result of the Kamla Persad Bissessor initiatives in the budget. You would recall that banks and insurance companies were saddled with new taxes and an asset-based tax. FCB now, over 10% decline in profitability. Alcohol, saddled with massive increases on tax. Angostura, revenue down, profit down. They don't want focus on that. And every time that happens, it's come with an announcement that we will get to. The breach of the public procurement laws. My colleagues before me highlighted some of that. Everywhere it is taking place, the awards of contracts without proper procurement and abiding by the legislation. Over $510 million US dollars, multiply that by 7, $510 million US dollars taken from the HSF, the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Not a word we've been told. 1.8 billion US dollars borrowed in the last few months. US dollars. No explanation. and have to be repaid in US dollars where our US revenue is going down, you begin to understand that every time these areas are surfacing of the failure of this government and where they are taking Trinidad and Tobago in a downward trajectory, suddenly is a big announcement and a big fanfare. Flood the zone. Hilton, currently in a crisis. Hilton, that has been around since independence, currently in a crisis. And don't buy the hogwash about PNM. You have been in power now for 15 months, unable to secure a contract or negotiate a lease to be done that we were doing at the time and in the process of finalization. What has happened for the last 15 plus months? And then the last one I'll touch on is just to ask our public servants. That election promised a 10%. How are we going? People, these are some of the serious red flags that we're meant to be focused on and asking questions on. Not a single one of them that I've highlighted have we heard from the Prime Minister on. Or has the government come out and spoken to the population the same way that we are doing here today? Something that you became very accustomed to in the last 10 years under PNM administration. Accountability and transparency. Now let's get to some of the current smoke and mirrors that they're throwing out there in their flood zone. Every time things are surfacing, just a few that I've just highlighted, that are showing bad governance, incompetence, the big announcements come. First one I'll deal with, the reopening of the steel mill. That steel mill, let me start by saying, if the steel mill can be reopened, is a positive for Trinidad and Tobago. Absolute positive. Something we welcome. No details have been given. Simon used the phrase, devil in the detail, most appropriate here. We have been told nothing about the reopening of this steel mill. I'm seeing information from the companies that people are asking, where did these companies come from? Who are the people behind the companies, etc.? Very legitimate questions. They are saying an initial investment of $150 million US dollars, maybe 50 million more, depending on how things go. That's 200 million. The government is touting 750 million. Yeah, just throw in an extra 500 million. Typical flood zone type concept. Devil in the details. What are the concessions being given? Are there tax moratoriums, meaning that the company does not have to pay tax? Importation of raw materials, because we have none of the raw materials available in Trinidad for the steel mill. Have they waived import duties on the raw materials? Have they waived export duties on the final product? What is the rent that has been negotiated? You need natural gas. Where's the natural gas coming from? How many molecules need to be used? What is the price that is being paid for it? That steel mill was the single largest user of electricity when it was in play. What's the price for electricity you're selling it at? Is it a subsidized price that we, the taxpayers, will carry? Or is it a proper commercial price? These are some of the questions, and the devil is in the details. They signed an MOU, and we are happy to see the support of the US government assisting them. Give some level of reassurance, but it does not take away the need for accountability and details to be presented. You all remember every time there was an announcement of a MOU, be it sandals, be it for the refinery, anything, they want details, details, details. Even with the sandals one, we produced it. Where are the MOUs? Where are the details? What are the terms for the reopening of the steel mill? The population deserves answers. We have been given absolutely no details. So don't wait and hold your breath on it. But these are some of the questions. And the economists must look at this The people who are serious about the progress of Trinidad and Tobago know it's more than a signing of an MOU and a cutting of a ribbon. So please provide the population with these details. What are the terms of negotiation that have taken place? What are you giving it away at and for? What is the revenue to Trinidad and Tobago? Those are the level of details that we require as citizens to know whether this is beneficial to Trinidad and Tobago or not. Let's turn now to the UNC's spin on Coquina Mannequin. I understand, or I can appreciate and imagine how difficult it must be to have no ideas of your own and no genuine thoughts of your own and no initiatives that you've come up with. That's your problem. But do not try to mislead the population. And I'm seeing it in numerous quarters out of the government on Coquina Mannequin and others, that somehow in the last 15 months you all came up with this concept. That is not true. And all one needs to do is go to the open source documentation. Unfortunately, when the PNM was in government, we made sure to continuously put out the information and the progress in all of the sectors, as well as the energy sector. So it exists in open source that you can literally track when this happens. So the first comment made, oh, this was signed, a unitization agreement signed with Venezuela in 2015 February. Absolutely true. And nothing happened for 10 years. Complete hogwash. Unitization, because 66% of the block, the field, the Mannequin, Coquina, 66% is Mannequin. That's on Trinidad side. 33% is on Venezuela side, called Coquina. Unitization means you can only develop the field when you've agreed terms on both sides. The UNC would have us forget that the United States, EU and others put sanctions on Venezuela in 2019 that made it impossible to commercialize and to produce any of these gas fields. In 2019 that happened. What did the PNM do? Firstly, we secured Manatee, which right now they're heralding, calling something called Plus Manatee, etc. That fortunately we secured and got Venezuela to agree to deunitize Manatee from Loran, and today that is the hope for Trinidad and Tobago. They had nothing to do with it, including the Beachfield lease that they had a big signing ceremony. We had done all of that, save for the lease. Back to Coquina Mannequin, 66% is the Mannequin field. Trinidad and Tobago, it was the PNM policy that NGC had to go across the whole value chain. Invest in upstream, where the gas is taken out of the ground. Invest in midstream, that's the pipeline and the processing, as well as the final product, be it LNG. You will know that NGC has also, during the 2015 to 2025 period, for the first time negotiated certain cargo type prices off of ammonia, methanol, etc. So we took it across the whole value chain. I heard a claim from the incompetent chairman of NGC saying that, oh, the PNM never went across the whole value chain, but it is our policy that we put in place and implemented that you're now claiming. Coquina Mannequin. You want receipts? This is, even though there were sanctions in place, we were negotiating with the US government to ensure we got OFAC clearance. These photos are March 2024. Sitting with all of the technocrats, BP, PDVSA, the Ministry of Energy in Venezuela, as well as the Ministry of Energy in Trinidad and Tobago. Look at it. March 2024. That is Coquina Mannequin. And that is where we were securing Coquina and implementing the policy of 20% for NGC. These are the photographs of March 2024. The next thing that came was we got OFAC clearance for Coquina Mannequin in May 2024. and began working assiduously, securing a 20-year license, which had never been done before, in July 2024. And that is what allows you to produce coquina mannequin today. A 20-year exploration and production license from the government of Venezuela in July 2024. That's only one set of photos of us in Venezuela. I'm waiting for 15 months. I haven't seen them anywhere near to achieving anything like this. Instead, they leave it up to the BPs and the Shells to go out there and secure it, which is their job and their duty. But do not pretend that you are responsible. So the 20% was secured for the coquina side. And at that time, we told the BP and began the negotiations for the 20% of mannequin. You know why it wasn't completed? The OFAC license was revoked in April 2025. Secondly, it was in November 2024, I sat down with the BP executive in charge of gas in London and got them to agree Trinidad and Tobago through NGC would get 20% in mannequin. And the reason it took long is because, one, the OFAC license was revoked, but secondly, what they're not telling you is 30% of mannequin was owned by Repsol. And BP had to get Repsol's 30% out of the mannequin side. There is a cabinet note under the PNM administration in November 2024 where the PNM cabinet, our cabinet, approved BP and Repsol conducting that transaction. And when BP acquired it, and then a general OFAC license now allows BP to do what they're doing in Venezuela, as well as Shell, a general OFAC license, not a 6-month piece of paper that they were waiving in 2025. That is why the PNM policy of 20% in
That's what I always say. You understand? Candice, we have a touchy topic here tonight, Candice. Right? We have a topic where I was watching the former Prime Minister, Mr. Stuart Young, was speaking about how the UNC is mismanaging the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. Right? And he get into some depths with First Citizen Bank and Angostura group of companies, right? And this thing is very frightful because the amount of good evening, Queen, how are you? The amount of loss of jobs and loss of revenue this country is getting since the last 8 months this UNC government is in office, right? We are speaking about First Citizen Bank. Yeah, Queen, you will remember. Everybody tap off the screen like the live. Candice, for the first 8 months since the UNC took office, the First Citizen Bank experienced a decline of 10% in profit, Candice. Right? That is a drop of... Hold on a minute. First Citizen experiencing a loss of profit of $73 million. Right? In profit. That is due to the loss of jobs in the country, right? And the UNC, the mismanaging of the country, Candice, that is a loss of jobs. Nobody's not borrowing no money, nobody's not taking no loans, nobody's not investing any money, because the presently the country is on a standstill, right? And this UNC government is not doing anything to build back the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. And we want to know where we stand right now, Candice, because if First Citizen is reporting this kind of drop in the first 8 months, the UNC assume office, Candice, what is next? You understand? And then after we speaking about Angostura, due to the high taxes this UNC government imposed on against the citizens of Trinidad and the alcohol, Candice. You understand? That's why you're seeing bars and small businesses are being shut down. Because
not forgetting the bar owners. Yeah.
The bar owners, you understand? And you are seeing, Candice, the decline, the loss of jobs, Candice. Angostura alone for the first, can I, Randy, you could mute your mic, please? The first 8 months since his UNC government assumed office, Angostura has lost profit of $62 million for the first 6 months for the first quarter of the year. You understand? So you see the kind of money Angostura has lost, Candice. And if Angostura continue losing this kind of money, you know what will happen? They will start to let go people because they're not making the profit, they're not making the kind of money they used to make. To have the staff what they had. Huh? And that is high mismanagement.
So of course.
Yeah. So that just showing you how this UNC government is mismanaging the country, Candice. And people not seeing the big picture of it as yet until it hit home. You understand? That is why all these small bars and small business places are being closed down because of the high taxes this UNC government is coming and handing out to the small man on the ground. This is what the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago voted for. You understand? And the first thing they want to come with, Candice, is about, and you know what is sickening me? So what about the last 10 years? What about the last 10 years when PNM was in power? Right? That is why the reason why we put Ollie there. Because Ollie come and Ollie said that how Ollie could do a better job. Ollie could stabilize the economy. Ollie could create more jobs. We never put Ollie there to mismanage the economy and mash we up. You understand? What about the 10% they promise in the manifesto? Look how much promises they make, Candice, in the manifesto and
they haven't kept one.
What about the 10%?
They haven't kept not one of them.
What about the 10? What about the 10% for the public servants? Where are the public servants? Where's Miss Thomas from the PSA president, who was knocking the desk with a brown envelope and said the 10% is here, people, the 10% is here. What become of that? You understand? What become of that? Is that envelope was just empty? Was that another trick, another politics trick? Another scheme by this UNC government just to mislead the people, mislead the population of Trinidad and Tobago, Candice? These are the questions we have to be asking the people, Candice. You understand? Look how long Angostura has been around. How much years Angostura has been distributing alcohol to the Caribbean and to the country, Candice. And right now, business people who are feeding bar owners, who are feeding their family, cannot. You know how much bars in Diego Martin down by us, Candice, has closed down because of the high prices and the loss of jobs. You understand? Because people cannot afford, Candice. It have people right now, I know. It have men who saying when they're going to line with their friends and family, everybody had a chip in. Otherwise than that, they ain't holding no line. They ain't want no talk or nothing from nobody. You understand? That's how sad the country has get right now, Candice. And this UNC government is carrying us downhill on a rapid pace. And people didn't realize what is going on as yet. And people, we have to wake up and say enough is enough. When we will wake up and say enough is enough, Candice? When we turn like Haiti? When Trinidad and Tobago come like Haiti?
Tata, let me tell you this. People are aware of But you see, fear would have got hold of some of them, the majority of them, because they know. Remember, everybody is in their own home. They know what they can afford to buy. They know what they can't afford to buy. They know about their lifestyle, their custom living. And there is nobody could come on this platform right about now and say, hey, my lifestyle hasn't changed. Right? Everything has decreased. Everything is going downhill. But here what? The people are afraid.
Yeah.
And then they will start a rumble. But I only do hope they rumble in a peaceful manner, because we don't have to go out on the street to protest. We don't have to do that or to demonstrate. And I do not entice any type of violence or any kind of protest. There are many ways to hang a dog. Because as we see, Chatter, things not getting any better. Because when Angostura closed down, look how much people is employed under Angostura. Look how many people is employed.
It's 350 people is employed under Angostura, from maintenance come straight up to factory workers. 350 people. Yeah. So that's 350 people will be on the bread line, to add to the 100,000+ people right now who is already on the bread line. You understand? Look, Nessers is on the verge right now, on the verge of closing the doors. Yeah, Nessers on the verge of closing the doors, Candice. That's another 250 people will be on the breadline, Candice, babe. You understand? So what about this?
Yeah, but
yes.
You know, I want to know. But Islanders government has never seen, you know. This government come across as if there's wicked, vindictive people, you know. They don't care if people eat. I don't know if the rest of Trinidad and Tobago shares the same views as me. But since this government come in power, boy, hey, these people and them come back with a vengeance, boy. Like them only just play that bugle and play what we wanted, the songs that we wanted to hear, and chant the chants. I don't like these people. I don't know, boy. Like they put a spell on we, you know, just to come into power. And look at what they're doing to us now. Look at what they're doing to us. And the whole action.
Candice.
How? Tell me how.
Candice, all your comment, all you said what the people and them wanted to hear. What the citizens and them wanted to hear, because all you know we were disgruntled with the present PNM government, right? And all your comments sing the song what we wanted to hear. Right? And
yeah.
We come and we elect all them people. The original, you can move your mic, please. Yeah, so we come and elect all and put all there in power. And this is what all they coming to do, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
Hold on, just now. I see what Miss Unforgettable said. Miss Unforgettable, I'm going to tell you something. I am not a nice person when these people come on this platform to talk foolishness. So hear what Miss Unforgettable said. Why blame the government? It's up to us to work.
And make our money.
Make our money. Ma'am,
how could we work and make our money when the government is closing down all the jobs in them and all the availability to the citizens? How could we work and make our money?
Oh, your life's ticking, brother.
Yeah.
I want to know what work. Make what. Listen to me. Here. Ma'am, here what going on? Ma'am, here what going on? Let me come, mister. You see that jackassness, you know, don't come back here again with that shit. Because if people had jobs, we would have not been here. Our Prime Minister, the one who hired to in power, promised us jobs, better wages. She promised to fix crime in 60 days. They promised us a whole set of things. So don't come here with your stupidness, man. But what don't blame you? Is the government we have to blame? So what happened to all them people on the breadline? Eh? Look, lady, don't come here and talk up in your AWS, please. Chatter, go on.
Oh,
I don't get vexed to them shit, you know.
Candace, coming
And
out.
Papa Boys and Shion. Always a set of wicked people. So people just coming out on social media and crying out, and all the jobs are closing now. People just crying out for what? For fame? For 50 minutes of fame on social media?
Let's see if I can get my moderator here.
Where are they living? Where are they living? On that rock?
No, Candace, them eyes closed, Candace, you understand? Them eyes closed. Because like how them does say, the UNC is government in government now is their time. You understand? So whatever the UNC government dish out to the people and them saying, well, alright, it's all well and good. You understand? That is what they're saying, because just like the mayor of Diego Martin, when she was asking for the roads and them to be paved, you understand? I hear a group of UNC people was on a live and was saying, oh, it's we time now and they have to see about South first. And let Port Spain and the West Side wait because it's our time now. That is the mentality of the UNC people, Candace. That is the mentality of these people and them, they're ignorant. Them not seeing that how right now so much people is on the breadline, people are suffering, people cannot make two ends meet. You see in big companies like Angostura and these people complaining how the profit, they're losing profit within the millions. Because so much people is on the breadline. It have no money circulating in the country. And these people and them still coming up and saying, give the UNC time. Time to do what? Further destroy the country? That is what we have to give the UNC time to do. So don't come out and speak about what's going on in the country. What's affecting the citizens and the people who cannot speak for themselves. And it's a few of us who coming out here and voicing our opinions. So what we have to do, can they just lie down and play there and let this UNC government walk over us? Is that what all they want? You understand? All they come in power and hire a certain amount of people.
See,
look.
We like to see.
Go ahead, Candace.
They're messing with real life tonight, boy, chatter.
Yeah, they're messing
These
up
people and them. You know what they want to see? And they want to see people fall long and dead by the wayside. And then they go say, oh God, that is what's going on there. Let me tell you something, the UNCs are very wicked, vindictive, evil government. If a prime minister could hear and they knows, they are aware of the situation that is taking place in this country. They are aware of all the job loss. They are aware of all the hardship that people is facing. And if our government could sit comfortable and go to bed at night, wake up in the morning and pretend nothing is going on, and have people like Papa Boys and this next dotish woman coming here to talk a pack of assness. That clearly shows.
They're sticking up with life tonight, boy.
Not chatter, excuse me, she ain't sticking.
Huh?
Local election, we will remember. General election, we will remember.
Candace, so I want you to say your name original.
My internet is speaking on my
Good night. Right? I first on the line, right? But I'm gonna tell you something. I will argue 100% with Candace. I'm gonna tell you why I will argue with Candace. Right? When UNC had win election, and before the win election, they had promised the people 50,000 jobs. They had promised a crime fighting initiative. They had promised persons food cards. They had promised persons children free laptops. They had promised persons, the homeless, free houses. Right? What I want to say is, with the crime fighting initiative, if you have a crime fighting initiative, why bring an SOE for so long? Why have to have an SOE for so long?
Hold on. Could you block Papa Boys, please?
All right, sure.
Take it on. Thank you,
right?
darling.
And I just
Then go
always say
elsewhere with
when
that shit. Then go on
sorry
Roberts and them platform with us. That's okay, darling. You go ahead.
when Piana was in power, we had it
Trinity,
way
monitor
better.
the live dinner, please.
Right, and I will always say when PNM was in power, the country was running way better. Yes, PNM had their problems, they had the issues, they had the ups and downs, but the country was running way better. Kamala come in power, you raise the price of everything, right? Let's not gas by $1, right? You come, you take people food card, you take people jobs, almost 100 people or more from CPAP on the bread line, right? Food cards going down the drain. Sharon Grant gone down the drain, right? The tax in the country, right? To we money, not them money, we money gone down the drain, right? So I will agree. You know why? You have the police, right, abusing the citizens, doing what they want, running in people's house, beating them up, shooting them, right? All because why the police is on the UNC side, right?
Yes.
So long, all you have a crime fighting plan initiative and all you have SOE. If you have a crime fighting plan, I don't understand why have a SOE? And this is the question I keep asking. You have a crime fighting plan, why have a SOE? Why so much people still dying? Why have so much a crime? Why so much a robberies? Why so much a home invasion? And when you call the police, he will just tell you, we have a 0.19 in the station. You know what a 0.19 mean? The shift short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I will agree, yes, the candidates 100%. I don't care what people say, right? That this government is a wicked government.
Yeah.
They're not here for we, they are here for themselves.
Thank you, but you're seeing that. But you're
Right,
seeing
they're
it
here
as
for
plain as
themselves.
day.
But original, you seeing how Angus Turan and Food Citizen Bank right now is crying out and saying the amount of profits they are
Let me tell you what they
lost.
do with First Citizens Bank. The government is taking all First Citizens Bank tax and spending it towards nonsense.
Right.
Right? That is why First Citizens can't see the profit because the government is taking it.
And let me tell you something, this UNC government dipped into the Stabilization and Heritage Fund and withdrew 510 million US, not TT dollars, US, multiply that by 7. You understand? With no transparency. What they do with that $510 million. And then after they went and borrow 1.8 billion.
Tata, excuse me. This guy, Raised by Wolves, can you delete that person that from me, please?
Trinity, monitor the comment section for me now, please.
No. Raised by Wolf, right, is a so-called person who claimed to be an officer at Shoguna's police station.
I don't care about him. He needs to go.
Right? Let me tell you something.
This is chapter life and not mine.
Let me tell you something. You see that nonsense where they taking the people money, right? And that US thousands of dollars she take and bring in Trinidad. That is the money she took and she went and fly Oho. Right? That is the money she went and bought the plane with. I just talk plane. That is the money I went and your party. That's the money where Barry Parrott went up on the stage and he called him Julian name hard. That is the money they use.
You know what's keep bothering me? Let me tell you something. We don't have them here for the next 3 years and some months, right?
Correct.
We don't have them here. And if we could do something about it, we do something about it in the morning. But yet, they know Trinidadians, we are not warlike people. These type of people will take pressure. Right? At least make a way for the people to get food to eat now. Make a way for the citizens to get food to feed their children even self now. People not asking for handouts now. People just asking to get a job. And it won't have people like these jackasses coming here to talk a shit of foolishness, to talk about where what's the 9 past years and da. Hello, we give the UNC a chance to run the country.
Yeah.
We give them a chance to run the country fair and square. Right? We give them a chance. Now it's their time now. Show us what all they could do for us. Y'all are working for us. We don't want to be here quarreling with the UNC.
It is their
You think
time.
I don't want? I now come from work. I now come from work and I had to run a bit because I know the guests and them expecting us to be here.
Yes, and it
Feed
is
the
their
people,
time.
help the people, put things in place for the people. And the fact that all they're treating the citizens like this, people is going to start to hate the UNC. And after this regime, this will be the end of the UNC. People is going to fret that party. People is going to dislike that party, and I don't care what nobody say. Or they could try to split it up in race. Or they could try to split up with African and Indian. Here what's going on. African and East Indian feeling the blasted pressure too.
Correct.
It's all how we feeling it. So when all they come here and to talk, all they say that jackass free here from me. Or they can do that on Chatter platform, but then when they come on mine, I'm going to disrespect all you. Because they can't tell me all they see people suffering. It's on social media, you see it every day. People crying out. All people not asking for handouts. They're just asking so that they could be able to take care of themselves and their family. When a young child hungry and a mother or a father don't have to give them, you know how messed up that could be in a mother and father mind. Just how people are going to start to commit crime, they will lose it and don't care. And all how we crying out to Kamala, all how we crying out to the MPs, crying out to all of them, they're turning a blind eye and they're turning off the hearing aid. That is not what we vote for. So when they come here to talk about the pack of assness, or let us get my vex, you know. Or let us really get my vex, because this is not a mannequin. This is not a fairy tale we're talking about. This is real life. Real situations that happen in it. Exactly.
Candace, and you know one thing? All you come, right, and all you promise 50,000 jobs, right? And all you come and fire CPEP, URP, forest workers. Look how much people in the breadline. Look how much people cannot feed their family, Candace. Huh? And it have these UNC trolls. You understand? These reptiles, these UNC reptiles who coming up here and want to play the talking about, and give the UNC time and then now come in power and this and that and the other. But them and their family eating well. The UNC and their family are eating well and they don't have to ask where it is. It's here it is.
Let me tell you something. You see to all in the comment section, all they can come up here and say what they ask, all they want, however all they want. But you see the hardship
the people
of Trinidad and Tobago is going through. You see the hardship people facing, in time to come, all you will understand. The UNC will never see power in Trinidad and Tobago again. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. Or they could come with whatever narrative and try to spread a set of jackassery here tonight. Here, what's going on? That ain't changed nothing. You see what people feeling in their house right now? Or they will understand for local and next election. Trust and believe. I will never come out here and talk as much. I will not, and the rest of bloggers will even have to come out here and talk as much. You know what happened? The people start to understand the assignment. We give the UNC a chance to run the country. We give them love, we give them we heart, we give them we soul, and look at what they did to us. They mess with us.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
They're messing with our generation. You know how much people can't afford to buy books to send their children to school? And Kamala said she love we. Eh? Kamala said she love us. She said nobody can love you like I will. And we hold on to that. And yet today, I saw something on TikTok, okay? I'll show you a little bit. Where a man went up on a Facebook chat. And he was showing there some East Indian people was making some racial comments. You hear what I'm telling all you? Now, this is the first time I ever come close to these kind of things, eh? And it had me upset. You know why? I was upset and I started curse this morning. Because I know not everybody is like them, eh? It have racial East Indians and Africans. and then it have non-racial and non-racial Africans and East Indians. But to hear the kind of things these people say, and then I said to myself, how come all throughout all election you wasn't hearing them speaking like that, calling us monkeys and calling us cockroaches? How come you wasn't hearing them talking so? It's dunce, evil, wicked people like them is what had the country like this.
Yeah.
Because you cut you chatter, you cut me, is the same blood. When we dead, is the same 6 feet under. But what I could tell all of this, I know. You see, this is for the racial ones. Moon does run and they does catch it. Go come a time, or they go want the same cockroach, and the same nigger, and the same slave masters.
To put all
stand with all them. To put all them back. Yeah. And you know what I'm watching at? You know what I'm watching at, Tata? Sorry to take over your program, you know. Sorry, you know. But that bother me whole I better talk about that. Huh? Oh God, it bother my heart, it troubles me. You know I watch that? If one of an African person that come out there and make all that comment, all also that person was lifted. All also that cost the daylight out of that person. But the vex now...
Sorry to cut across there. You know what you will say? The person threatened she on a paternity detention on arrest the person. That's what she will say. The person threatened she.
Exactly. And the kind of, the most, and let me tell you something, the most amount of racial comments I hear on that video that Mr. posts up, and say, Jesus Christ, watch me, it troubles my soul in the chatter. And you know what, get my vex? I find the Prime Minister should put on a rule concerning these things. If you want to stabilize the country and bring back the peace and the love, you see this racism thing, they need to stop it. The Prime Minister need to stop with them racial slurs. You understand me? You see the back and forth? I hear these people call me a cockroach. I hear these people call me a nigger. And when I say me, I'm a black woman. I am an African. You know how hurt I feel? And I want to tell you and see something, if it wasn't for the cockroaches and the Negroes, or they would have never be sitting all this. This what they're doing with that. We surely love. We surely together this. And look at what they're doing to we. Well, they shut down all the private institutions where the little black boy and the little East Indian boy and girl can go and get a trade. That is the thing somehow they have to look at and stop trying to push race in the country. It's all that we feeling it. It's all that we feeling it. Look now, watch now. I know. I'm real pissed off today, you know. I watch that thing and that bother me, you know. Because I know I show all the love, you know.
Yeah.
I bring love to the table, you know. I bring love and I still had the love, you know. You know why I still had the love? I am not going to have somebody like. I am not going to encourage and push hatred. Trinidad and Tobago is too small for that.
Say something. Good night, everybody.
That ain't looking good. What will happen to the young one? What will happen to what? Watch me, all them racism coming to me and I know, but I'm today, you know. I said, but look how these people live. It didn't have what they didn't say about Africa.
Hold on to that.
It didn't have what they didn't say about black people. It didn't have what they didn't say about black people. And it's the same black people who stand with all you. All you have to stop their racialism thing. Stop it at once. I get so upset about that. Me and I can't watch me. If I did see them people face to face, also I might have get an obscene language charge. I might have disrespect them, you know. Because they're encouraging foolishness. We don't have time in Trinidad and Tobago for racism. It's peace, it's one love we had to push in Trinidad. That's all they go ahead, you know. Go ahead.
Trinity, come up and make your contribution, Trinity.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Candice. Good night, Chatter. Good night, everybody on the panel. I was
Good night
reading
to
the
you.
comments because I'm monitoring the comments for chatter tonight, right? And every time I finger out to make a app, mute and block all people chatter. Because they overdo it.
Yeah.
I want to address Mr. King George. He just put up something, and I want to correct him on his comment. Mr. King George, you see where right there where Dr. Keith Rowley say who dead? You understand? And they call him a fool. You're very disrespectful. Because one thing I'm not gonna do, yes, Mr. Rowley did wrong things when he was Prime Minister. Yes, he was aggressive. You understand? But I have respect 100% for Mr. Rowley because Mr. Rowley has pulled through us through some of the darkest times in TNT, especially COVID. Because if we was going through COVID under this administration, God help us. You understand? Now, let me tell you why he said that who dead nonsense, right? It was around COVID time, sir, and the citizens was being hardened. He tell me to stay home, the old road. He tell me to wear a mask. They had a mask on the chin, they had a mask on the head, they had a mask all over the place, right? He giving us rules and telling us, he giving us curfews and things, and we was not listening. He got mad. He came up on the podium. He said, all they don't want to hear. He said, who dead, and who live. Give me a break. That is what he meant. He was talking about COVID. He did not mean that he don't care about the country and who dead. You see this who dead thing with Mr. Rowley, with Dr. Keith Rowley? All you're pushing this thing a little too far. Right? A little too far. All you need to stop. Right? Leave it alone. Another thing too, I totally agree with Candice when she said with the racialism thing. But it had to start with the government. Because you see it all in Parliament. All in Parliament you're hearing the racial slurs when it comes to
Yes, you're hearing it.
to the Prime Minister and them. All in the government, all in the Parliament you're hearing that mess. It starts with them. I understand it have a pattern with this UNC government. They could speak how many racial slurs to you, but as soon as somebody says something about them, they want to throw you in PDA. They want to throw you in PDO. They want to do all kind of things. You understand?
Yeah.
Beside that, I must say one thing. Beside that, right? Besides alternative detention order.
Original. Hold on. Yeah, I'll get back to you.
Right. Right. Yeah, that has to go down the line. There are other speakers.
King George, you want to make a comment?
Right. Give me a sec. Yeah, I'm sorry, my child was making noise. As soon as you talk about her like with Sabka say, you see how long she stayed in PDO because she decided to make her to say what she said. But what I don't understand is you call yourself that slur, right, in Parliament to yourself, and when somebody said so, it's okay if somebody can't say it. So what I'm trying to say is this: in order for the racialism to stop, it had to start from the top. Meaning it had to start with the government. The government had to stop it, and the citizens will stop it. That's all I have to say for now.
I agree with you.
And why is the at block Scorpion for me, please? I don't why I'm here.
Yeah.
King George, you want to make a contribution?
King George, you want to make a comment?
And before you start, we are closing off at 9:45. Okay, guys. So that Mother Scorpion for me, please. That stoops my ass.
Sorry. All right. Barefoot, you would like to make a comment, Barefoot?
Good evening, everyone.
Good night, sir.
It is so difficult, having to deal with the daily challenges that arise. Sometimes you would think it would be from every Monday, but with this government, it seems like it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and back again. I think one of the things that is happening that we need to be cognizant of is that this government continues to use the bait and switch tactic to have us distracted. Chatter, one of the things that you spoke about is the monies that was withdrawn from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. There's other issues with monies that were borrowed on the international market and so on. And
Yes.
because they are using the bait and switch tactic, they are bringing all sorts of things into the space for us to be concerned about, so that we do not see the things that they are doing behind the scenes, such as questioning those monies that are removed from the HSF and so on. So while they are rubbing us blind behind the scene, they are also distracting us with a lot of other things. And I think it's a tactic that Donald Trump has been using in the US, where I forgot the name of the term, but it is where you put out so much thing into the space that persons cannot keep abreast of one thing at a time. I think we need to diligently stay on the topics also of the monies that they are deliberately taking and going to send, pushing out to their friends and financiers and so on. Look at a simple thing as this. We know that Independence Day is coming up now, and something that Candice was speaking about a while ago in terms of all the racialism and so on, the Prime Minister said, oh, we'll get another opportunity to call her racial slurs then. They have moved away from the traditional parade square and created a new space for the parade. That is to siphon yet again more monies, paving another part of the savannah and so on. And those are things we need to pay attention to, because it is costing us at the end of the day. While a lot of us are being unemployed and so on, the government continues to grape the treasury of Trinidad and Tobago, and we need to pay attention to that.
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Barefoot. So let us move on to Mr. Focus.
No, Kesson Smith, we go leave Mr. Focus for that. Kesson Smith, you have a comment to make, sir?
Yes. Yes, good night, everyone. Good night, Chatter. Good night, Miss Princess. I would like to share something tonight with a conversation I had with a friend of mine a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she in a situation where she was unemployed for a while. And she telling me now that she fed up looking for work. She wants to start a business. She wants to do something on her own. I now at a standstill now. I was going to tell her go buy Netco. But then I ended up remembering Netco not in operation. Then I ended up telling her, I was going to tell her, well, go buy social welfare and ask about the grant for Then I ended up remembering the government cancelled that grant. So I understand. I cannot tell her anything again after that. She don't know what to do, and I don't know what to tell her. But I can remember people can say what they want. And I don't know if Miss Warrior Princess or Chatter, you know about this. I can remember when Dr. Rowley and Mr. Inbert was giving out grants to young people who had business ideas. I think up to $20,000 that was giving out grants to people who had anybody who had business ideas, who you know, and all that. And I can remember Kamala come and cancel all that for no reason. And plus now she gone and put Netco on a hold. So I cannot tell her, you may not get the grant, but at least you could go buy Netco and share a business idea. But look, we cannot even do that right now.
And Mr. Keston, speaking about the grants, the Ministry of Housing, when you could go into the Ministry of Housing and get a grant to do repairs or start your house, you see they close down that as well without any public knowledge or anything. They just put an ad on social media and say the grants will no longer be available. So that's another one. They're closing down everything. You understand?
Look, it's another friend of mine who was part of the Homestead program, and she was one of them who was waiting on a piece of land and the $20,000 to start a business. from the Homestead program. Unfortunately, she didn't get it because why? Homestead program was cancelled, and the land what she's supposed to get, she didn't get it. So she was at a standstill. She was unemployed for a while until she was lucky to get something. She was one of the very few who got her work in the situation right now. But it's a share right now is what is taking place and is what people going through right now. Okay, and I want to say something to Ms. Rishna in the comments, right? You're talking about education is the key and all that, and education is the key, right? I want you, Ms. Rishna, to go and tell an educated person who have the bachelor's degree and master's degree and all that degree, right? Who's educated, who lost their job under this government. I want you to go by one of them and tell them the same thing. Education is the key. Education is the key. I'll show you'll get the loudest set of costs you'll get. So whatever you're saying about education, it makes no sense whatsoever. Everybody lost their work, educated and uneducated. Everybody lost their job.
And one thing I just say to Ms. Rishna there, if education is the key, right? Why they close down Mylat, MyPath? Why they close down CCC? If education is the key. These are programs where was educating and taking youths off of the ground and making them into something and giving them, you know how much people went through Mylat, MyPath and become police and soldiers and all these other things? And are fine, upstanding citizens. Right?
Exactly.
What the National Security Minister said is too expensive to run.
It's a burden on the government.
The defense minister said that, not the homeland. The defense. He said it's a burden on the government.
Mr. Wayne Search said it's a burden on the government. Just like how they're saying the free healthcare is a burden on the government right now.
I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true.
Trinity, hold on. Yeah, Kassan, finish up and we
So if free healthcare is burden on the government, what? So why are we paying health surcharge for?
No true.
So where the health surcharge going? That's all I have to say. I don't want to keep back. Just in case anybody have to say anything, I just want to share that tonight.
All right, thanks for your comments, sir.
No problem.
And Chata, before we move, thank you, Clayton. Before we comment, Clayton, so before we go on the top of the screen for me, please. We will remember.
I like the live. Mr. Focus first. Good night, sir.
Well, good night to everyone here on the live, on the TikTok. I would like to tell the TikTok audience that we run on YouTube as well. We currently have 150-something people there as well. So the audience is not just here on TikTok alone.
Pleasant good night to the people on YouTube when we watch that.
Yeah. I don't want you to feel left out. So if we're not aware of the channel on YouTube is Workers Rights 868 on YouTube. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have TikTok too. And
Queen,
different speakers.
Queen, monitor the comments from Queen, please. Sorry, Focus. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So what I see today concerning what Stuart Young would have presented to the general public was frightening. Because Stuart Young just didn't come with allegations like how the PNM does come with, not the PNM, the UNC does come with allegations. He didn't just come with things that that he just released in the parliament. He come with facts and he talked that outside our parliament. He would have come with figures, 8% by 10%, 10.2%, and it shows how much millions of dollars that these institutions lost. Like Angostura. And Angostura, the millions that Angostura lost reflects the economy. That is how that's so serious. That is $62 million that the country didn't get. Because of the high bar prices. You see, I see Elmo on the live and I don't know where Elmo born. I like to hear Elmo contribution. But you say he go be right back, but I hope he come up and he give a contribution here tonight. Now, I would have listened from Jai Karan. I mean, he was a guy that we used to attend plenty shutdown and protests and things. And up to this day, there's still sometimes when I pass through Gulf City, we just have personal conversation. He would have talk about somebody from in the UNC who vote UNC. And today, they had to close down the bar because they can't pay the fine. They have business and they can't pay the fine. And boy, this Prime Minister is real disrespectful. You know? Now, when she raised the fine for the bar, and Penelope Beckers would have talk about it, you know what she responds? Imagine you having a problem with the Prime Minister raising the price on alcohol. Imagine you defending alcohol drinkers. And that is a narrative she decided to put outside in public domain. It have a lot of people working in bars and casinos, making an honest living. It have people working in bars not even sell drinking. It have people working there because that is the only thing it have. I mean, many of you from the city and believing that, you know, in the city, it has stores you could go and work for. What about people living in countryside and places like them places? So, overall, the Prime Minister of this country constantly expressing that she don't care about his population at all. While we there, playing, laughing, grinning, skinning, these people is serious. These people is organized. And they are not just going after the poor man on the street, the man, the CCC with a close down, the CPEP with a close down, the raising hourly fines, the tax, they're going after the taxi drivers. They went after the 1% and make a serious allegation that now they will have to pay. They go on the lie to the public servant and tell them, oh, you can get more than 10%. And really and truly, it more looking like 4%. And 5% and the 6% in promises, in bonds. So really and truly, the government of the day could not have done better with top PNM. They lied away into office, and they're using aggression when you question them. Because look, Johan Harris still in the jail, and Anita PDO, and the Lego Harry, the Hardys and them, because they're sick. Look, the sister, and this man was pleading inside of there. And when we constantly come here every night, Trinidad and Tobago, and tell you, let us come together and put an end to this government democratically. Or you're wondering what we say, there is things that we cannot talk on here. We have a WhatsApp group. We have groups in which we talk to you directly on our next step, because we know they're monitoring us. We have to come together. And if it's civil disobedience, non-violent, we come up and we stand on the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago and tell this government enough is enough. Look, just the other day I talk about the police post that bill over a gas line. That's not supposed to be. You hear the trade union leader. You hear the press conference today with Nobrega. They say if it had come to the corporation, they could have put it in a better strategic spot. This government breaking every rule in the book. And according to Candace last night, it's only race. It's only race. It's only race. At the end of the day, we have to do better than this. We have to do better than what we see. So Trinidad and Tobago, I ain't going to tell you to be strong again. I'm telling you it's time for me to make the difference. Because we here to sit down and watch everything. The alignment of certain powers that be behind the scene. And the constant stupor that many of us in. And waiting for the government to define what they're doing. Come on. So at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago, I hope you understand the message. All of us, anybody that is here live here, it have the Candace, at Trinity, at Chatter, or you message them in the private inbox, or you need to come into the WhatsApp group where we had to start to strategize. There are many communities that we are going into and, collecting data. Don't be left behind. To the religious leaders that are outside there that holding the word in hypocrisy. Oh God. So at the end of the day, I know the time running out. Trinidad and Tobago, the talk is just simple. Or you stand up now, boy. Stand up. That's all I have to say tonight.
I'm gonna say something real quick. Yes, people wanted the independence to happen, the independence parade and everything to happen, right? But I honestly don't think that we should have an independence parade. Let me tell you why. Or even an Independence Day. All they feeling independent right now? No, tell me in the comments if all they feeling independent right now. Everybody calling about independence parade. Why can't we feel independent right now when we don't feel independent? They take away the constitutional rights. We can't speak. They muzzle we. If we speak up, they throw we in PDO. You understand what I'm saying? They take away all the rights. And then they still want to talk about Trinidad and Tobago as an independent country. We are not independent. You understand? Because we have no independence for ourselves. Right? What we need to do, we need to stand up as a nation and fight back for our rights. This is why Dr. Eric Williams made our country an independent country in 1962. So we can be able to speak for our rights and have our constitutional rights. And the UNC come and just take away the rights here so because they think that they are above the law. And this is wrong. Why must we have an independence parade when we don't feel independent? I am not celebrating Independence Day this year because I don't feel independent. I feel like a liability right now as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Another rumor here is, I don't know if this is true or false, I hear that just now we will have to pay for healthcare like how they just do it in the States. If you call an ambulance, you have to pay for that. If you make a child, you have to pay for that. Well, I don't know if it's true or false. But I just listen to some of them Americans them on TikTok when they talk about how much money that they pay to make child, and I ain't paying that money. You understand? I personally think that the UNC government need to call an election. They need to call not even the local, they need to call a general election. Please, if we could call a general election tomorrow, we would be grateful. Right. Because only had the country in a mess. In a mess. I have a neighbor right now, she didn't buy one book. One book yet. And it's almost 3 weeks before school open. And she buy one book because she have no money. She said, listen, me don't know how them trying going to school in September. And then I have a next neighbor. She have twins. Thank God they're in the same class. She buy one book and the other share it. Because she can't afford 2 books. It's very hard. It's very, very hard out here. And like the government, they ain't even care. They don't even care. I have a next topic to bring up, but I will bring up that on Friday.
Nah, well, tomorrow we have a show, Trinity, so you can bring it up tomorrow, right? Candace, you have anything?
I forget that. Tomorrow.
I have one more short info to share.
Sure.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Clayton.
Yeah, yes, on the papers, they reported due to the with reference to the steel plant that opening in Point Lisas, right? Mm-hmm. They said that they spoke to residents close by and former workers, right? Former workers, they said that all of them are optimistic of the plant opening. But the thing is, ever since they announced that, I used to work in that plant for 8 years or for now, so I know that plant inside out. I get in calls and texts. Sometimes I'm meeting some of them on the road in person. Former workers used to work with me and who used to work in the plant, right? All of them telling me, that they're not going back any plant. And they also said that they also talked to other people who used to work in the plant, and all of them said they're not going back in the plant. They said that plant is a ticking time bomb. They said that they're not going back. So I was asking if everybody who I know who used to work in the plant, all of them say they're not going back. Who the media interview? Because everybody who I know, everybody said they're not going back.
No, well, that is UNC propaganda, you know. Just like everything when they're going by the HEC buildings and Philip walking around like you don't want a police presence and thing there. But we go leave some for tomorrow. Candace, you have anything to say, Candace? Unmute your mic, Candace. Unmute your mic.
Right. My closing contribution is, I will remember what this government did to my black brothers and sisters. I will remember what this UNC government did to the poor men and women on the streets. I will remember all the racial comments. I will remember how this government is trying. Look, what I want to say, now is not the time. Now is not the time. Take time. I'm not drink my tea, but I ain't lying up. I am so upset. You see that race thing, Pata? You see that race thing? You see that race thing? Oh God, eh?
People text it
trouble
up.
My spirit, you know.
People text it up in the comment. We will remember. Text it up in the comment, people. We will remember.
You see that race where they're trying to inject there between East Indians and Africans? Oh God, I don't like it one bit because we are one people. You see that race thing?
Yes.
Oh boy, chatter, that trouble my soul, but I will rest here.
All right. I want to say good night, a pleasant good night to everybody who on the panel, everybody who's on YouTube, everybody who's in the comment section and listening to us tonight. We invite everybody back here tomorrow at 8. We will have another show, and hope you all have a pleasant and peaceful night. Good night to everybody. Candice, thanks for coming on. Workers' Rights, Trinity, Barefoot, and Clayton. Thank you all. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
A mighty princess. Warriors and kings, a land in turmoil cried out for a hero. She was Xena, a mighty princess forged in the heat of battle. Her courage will change the world.